Welcome to Sweeping the Country one more time. A very interesting Vault edition today with my co-host, Mr. Jimmy Carter. Hey, Jimmy.
I don't know where I thought of this. I just happened to think, Alec Baldwin's been in the news so much.
Sure.
And I remember I really haven't interviewed him a lot over the years, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't save many of them. I saved this one. I think it's one of the first times that we ever actually met. It was for a movie called The Getaway.
Oh, I remember that.
1994. I think it was a remake, actually, of a film, maybe with Steve McQueen or somebody like that.
Yeah, it had been done before,
Yeah, it's been done before. So his wife, Kim Bassinger, is in it. He's in it. So I said, let's just hear what Alec Baldwin sounds like. He's an interesting, complex, he's an excellent actor.
Yeah, he is.
Technical actor. Whether it's Broadway or whatever, Hunt for Red October is one of my favorite movies.
He plays a great bad guy. I don't know what it is.
He can play a dark figure. I think that's easy for him to do, but he was good in Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, he was.
He just screwed it up. He could have done more.
Yeah.
But he got into him about money and they just cut, they said, no, it's not worth it. So let's get into it. And first of all, this is the movie The Getaway. And we started about how getting into a role. I don't know that he was that familiar with kind of talking about this thing, but he got a little deeper as we go. How do you get into the role of something like anything?
When you do a part, do you live the part or can you cut it off real easy?
I think it's different when you do films than when you do theater, for example. Most of the time when I do films, no, I don't live the part in any significant sense. I think a little bit, sometimes it stays with you. This movie, it stayed with me because one thing I tried to do was to practice keeping cool.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy that thrives by keeping cool. But when you do a film, you do the actual scene work such a limited part of the day. So much of the day is waiting around for them to do all the technical adjustments. When I did Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway, that presented some problems for me. Because I went through the day just daring anybody to challenge me.
Well, how about a crazy part like Miami Blues? I mean, that guy was really wacky.
No, that wasn't at all to me.
So you just turn that off and on because it's
that was very cartoonish to me. That wasn't anything you would deal with like that. But I think that there's the opportunity for that, and sometimes that does happen. And it depends on the role. Some roles it does happen to you. I know when I did Streetcar, I walked around a lot thinking, that no one could hurt me. I could walk through a building. I just had this super kind of, tenacity.
Now in Glenn Ross, I don't know you, but I kind of get the impression that there is a part of you that can get into that kind of character fairly easily because you're passionate and you're intense.
Well, I think that, sometimes I think some people can. I think some actors, they do that. They kind of live it, and they gravitate toward parts that either are who they are or are who they think they are. Mm-hmm. And then there are actors, I think, who I tend to just believe that this is true of myself, where really it is more of your sense of an impersonation of who that person would be. And it really has little to do with who I am. Because I remember when we did Glengarry, someone said to me, what were you thinking of? And I said, well, all I could think about was that scene in Patton when George C. Scott slaps that guy in the head because he's disgraced everybody with his cowardice. And I had to have an image that I could lock into, that I could say to myself, well, okay, I get it now. This is what this scene is about. So that's what I clicked into. Because I only have the one scene. It's not like I have to build a whole character like those other guys do. And so that was kind of where I was coming from when I did that movie, was I thought of him, that this guy was Patton,
Well, I thought of a good remake for you and Kim, to redo Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz and Lucy and Ricky, because, I think this would be the modern-day Lucy and Ricky of all time. And I know that you occasionally will say, Lucy, now you got to behave, Lucy.
I say, Lucy, what are you doing? There is a little Lucy and Ricky. Hopefully there's a little Lucy and Ricky in everybody's relationship. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good sign if you do.
But she looks like she could be a little Lucy every once in a while.
Yeah, she has some Lucy in her. Oh, yeah. Lucy has entered her body.
Now, Kim says she feels comfortable on a tractor on a farm. Is Alec that way?
No.
I didn't think you were a farm guy necessarily.
Well, if you take the lyrics to the old television show Green Acres and reverse them, I will sing the Eva Gabor lyrics, and she can sing the Eddie Albert lyrics. No, New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay.
How about food? Now, are you food compatible?
No, we're not. Not at all. My wife and I have a purely physical relationship.
This is This is totally one of those deals, and I've been there, where opposites attract.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. I'm a Yankee. She's a rebel, and I don't. We're compatible. You want to know something? We've become compatible food-wise, because if we didn't, I would go hungry a lot.
Like, she tells me that you can do some dressing down occasionally and get a little intense, and that's not her style. And so she says, we're not going to do this.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, that's the Italian in you. You can blame it on that, I guess.
You know, I don't have any Italian in me.
Well, I guess everybody in New York has.
But maybe I do. I do have some Italian in me.
She has German in her, so that's a whole other deal. But that's.
Yeah, no, definitely we're opposites. We're definitely opposites.
That is so funny. Let me ask you an Oscar question. Do you deal with all that junk, the race and the campaigns and all that? You'd rather just not think about it as an actor, the competition? Or how do you stand on all that?
I never really think about that. I think that the Oscars are like any awards. You know, they have a varying degree of significance and a varying degree of merit to them. I mean, so often I have people who are my favorites, who I love, and I want them to. You know, I'll watch the program and I'll think. You know, not every year, but some years I'll watch and say, well, I hope so and so wins an Oscar. You know. And we all know there's this whole litany of great actors who never got an Oscar, but and the Oscars, they make, you know, some bad choices too sometimes. But I mean, that's the nature.
Well, you like politics, and there's nothing more political than the Oscars. So is that the part that you say you don't like about it? It's so political.
Well, I don't. No, it has nothing to do with not liking them or liking them. It just has to do with sometimes I see somebody who I really, really think, well, I hope that this person is rewarded for the effort that they made. And the Oscars in this business are, for better or worse, the reward for excellence in this business. And I'll give you one example. I would love to see everybody who was involved in Schindler's List win an Oscar, because I was so devastated by this movie. I mean, anybody who has not seen this movie has got to go see this movie. It's really one of the few important movies of the last 5 to 10 years. And hopefully they will. And if they don't, well, I mean, some years the Oscars, I just don't agree with what happens, but that's just the way it is. You know?
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Yeah,
finally.
you too.
I see.
Thank you.
You know, it was interesting that we got into the end of this, that he sees himself as Zsa Zsa Gabor.
What?
In the Green Acres. You know, we talked about that in the interview, and that he says, you know, remember the old show Green Acres? New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. Kim Basinger likes the country. He liked the city. They were polar opposites.
Fascinating.
And they were married for a relatively short period of time, had a child together. But I just love her. We're fellow Southerners. We have a great time talking. So let's get into it. I just finished talking to her husband. So now I'm talking to Kim Basinger, the wife, in real life.
I've decided a movie you can remake again.
Excuse me?
It's not a movie, but it's a television show. I think you and Alec would be good at Lucy and Ricky.
Oh.
Are you anything like Lucy? Is he anything like Ricky?
It is so funny that you said that. He says to me, on the average, maybe 6-7 times a week, Lucy. He does. So we live that life. I mean, whether you'd want to do it on the screen or not, I don't think that's for us. But we live a Ricky and Lucy life existence.
So there's a little Lucy in Kim, right?
Yeah, and I think I don't know whether I want to admit that or not, but yeah,
I can see that. I can't see you doing the whiny kind of Ricky, but I can see you doing some other things.
Yeah, I'm a little, I connive behind Alec's back and do things, and all of a sudden it might go a little, oh, God, and he says, Lucy, you know.
I was making some notes on things today. I want to hit a couple things really fast here. One, you strike me as someone that would make a New Year's resolution. Am I wrong in thinking that? Any kind of resolutions. Do you do that?
I don't think I really do it.
You just like
No,
pass?
I think I might have done that years ago, but I don't do that. I just don't,
Do you set goals for yourself?
Not really.
You just kind of let it flow?
I just let it flow.
You're like a reed in the wind.
And I'm pretty consistent with the way I discipline myself. I mean, like exercise and all the things that usually, the normal New Year's resolutions and things. I'm pretty much set in my ways that way. So, it's not that I don't have anything I could improve. Yeah. I mean, I'm always trying to learn and always trying to improve on a daily basis. So I just feel like it continues on.
Right. How does Kim express anger? Are you a screamer?
No, I'm not.
Are you a pouter?
No, I'm not. In fact, for years I had trouble with anger because I was never angry and could not get angry. It was real funny. And Alec taught me how to get angry.
Yeah, Alec strikes me as the kind, he can kind of lash out. He's probably got a mouth on him that's unbelievable when he dresses you down if he wants to. It would be frightful.
He's Black Irish Catholic.
Yeah, I can see that.
Street, New York. I mean, a Long Island boy, and he has a temper. And he has a temper, but he's also, a lot of that is passion.
Controlled, passionate about everything.
He is very passionate about things. And I watch him, and I just go, now, you're going to have a heart attack. You have got to calm down. I mean, this is ridiculous. We handle our anger very different. I'm not a screamer or anything like that. I don't like that kind of. I just don't like that in the house.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. I have found something disturbing about your eating habits, as I've always been concerned with them since we talked about iced tea last time.
Love iced tea still.
Corn off the cob.
Corn off the cob.
You don't eat corn on the cob?
What
this was something in this magazine said all these food things you like. Corn off the cob. I said, this girl's from the South. She doesn't eat corn on the cob.
Oh, I love corn on the cob.
On the cob,
But you've never, if I was going to the chair or something and it was my last meal, I'd go, there's a southern fried corn off the cob. Have you ever had it?
I don't think so.
Oh, man.
I mean, I've had corn off the cob, but it's not fried.
Oh. You've missed everything.
Well, good. Great.
I mean, I haven't eaten it in 10 years or 15 years, but I mean, it's beyond.
Okay,
it's great.
I'll take your advice on that.
Please, southern fried corn.
Because we're very compatible in most everything except pumpkin pie. So
you don't like pumpkin pie?
No, but that's all right.
What kind of pie do you like? What kind of pie do you like?
Coconut cream pie, custard pie, apple pie.
You like creamier things, fruit things.
I was not a big chocolate fan. By the way, I had to tell you how sexy you were in Wayne's World. My goodness. You heard the groans in the audience from grown men. It's embarrassing. You were the children, you're watching these things, and you're sitting there doing this. What's wrong, Daddy? It's that kind of thing. I just wanted to let you know you bothered people with that.
That was great. She was a great character.
So was it fun working with Alec, or is he pretty, I know you've worked with him before, but now that it's the husband and wife thing and you were that much closer, was there a different relationship in this movie?
Well, the funny thing was, we weren't married then. I mean, we were together, of course, but it was beyond heaven.
It made you a better actress?
Well, I think with each part you try your best to improve on some level, but he's a marvelous co-star. He's a wonderful actor, and I think subliminally, before we even had the first day of filming, I think we made a deal subconsciously that we were just co-stars. That's the way it went. We had separate relationships with the director, separate relationships with the people, and we treated each other like co-stars, just with respect, and it was just wonderful.
Well, I think you're wonderful. You could read the phone book and I'd like it, so it'd be fine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow.
A real Georgia peach. She's done so many good movies. Vicki Vale, I thought she was great as Vicki Vale in the Batman movie.
Well,
with Michael Keaton, I thought that was that never got any better to me because Jack Nicholson was the best bad guy ever.
Yeah,
Michael Keaton was the best Batman. She was the best Bat girlfriend. I guess.
Yeah.
There were others that were okay, but I liked all of them.
No, I loved her.
Vicki Vale, I really liked.
You had brought up off the air
9.5 weeks.
there.
Holy cow!
I know
that's the hottest movie ever. It was.
That was borderline. Not an R-rated movie.
It was.
I mean, come on.
It really was.
Yeah, it was good.
It really was. And then she'd been in a number of other movies, but let's continue. Oh, L.A. Confidential.
Oh,
that's
great.
What we happen to be talking about next.
Kim, do you ever think you were born too late? That you maybe should have been a Veronica Lake type time person. Not that anything's wrong with you now, of course, but that really fits you, that time period, the natural and this.
Yeah, I love the 40s and 50s period of time. I love filmmaking and movie stardom and all the magic and the mystique of that era. But someone else asked me this too. Would you have preferred to live in that era? And to be really honest, I think, I'm sure they had their problems, and I'm sure it really hasn't changed that much. So I'll sort of keep where I am. I think I'm meant to live now.
They didn't have a lot of air conditioning, so I couldn't have gone back there.
There you go. Air conditioning's a good thing.
Air conditioning's a great thing.
Especially in the South with the
thing.
humidity.
If you had to be, I was looking at your whole list of characters, all the ones you played. If you really had to be one of those ladies through some Star Trek episode or something, you really had to become one, which one would you most likely could you live with if you had to be that lady? Of all the ones you've ever played.
That's interesting. If I can think back on all of them, I'll tell you a really fun one that I thought was a real good-hearted, wonderful girl was Nadine. Mm-hmm. You know Nadine? Mm-hmm. I like her. And Robert Benton wrote that script for me, but from a real person in this life. And she seemed to have a really good time, so I like her very much.
And see what every man is doing out there in television land right now is saying, God, I wish she would have said 9.5 weeks, and that would have just made me, that would have just ended my life.
Oh, no. Elizabeth was too complicated, and she was
like another,
not. Oh, my God.
Like you're not, though.
No, but I'm much simpler than that. I mean, I don't know. Elizabeth had a lot of, she was a multi-layered
When you were in high school, what was that Kim like? Was she a shy wallflower type, or was she dating the high school quarterback, or what were you doing? Were you outgoing?
I was, no, I was extremely, extremely shy, and I actually found it very difficult to even be called on. I mean, I had trouble with this all my life, being called on to stand up and read out loud. I mean, it's a natural thing a student does, actually. So I was really shy. In fact, I know at the end of my senior year, I was in the Athens Junior Miss pageant, and I sang a song because I loved music, and I had a pretty good voice, and I sang "Wouldn't It Be Lovely" from My Fair Lady. And I remember it was in the school auditorium. The pageant was held, and I finished this song. Thank God I got through it, and I'd really done a wonderful job. And on a bet from my father bet me that I would still be alive at the end of the performance, that I would not die, because I was so scared to death to get out there and do that. And I remember when I finished the song, this is what happened. People were like,
oh.
They didn't even know they had no idea I could sing. I mean, they didn't know they didn't have any idea whether I could talk, much less sing. So
they were so shocked to see little Kim out there doing that, huh?
That's exactly.
So where'd you get this confidence from that allows you to be where you are today? Somewhere, someone must have gotten it. You must have gotten a divine intervention or something that said, okay, I can go out to Hollywood, I can go to New York, I can do anything.
Well, I think I have some of that faith and determination that it takes to see your dream sort of come true, tenacity, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, it's been a struggle for me. It's been an incredible struggle for me, because we all are, this world, we all have our insecurities and our fears, and mine were very extreme at times, and especially to choose a profession like this, where I don't even like to look at myself on film.
Has being a mom actually increased your confidence and changed you?
Oh, it certainly has brought much clarity into my life, and it has freed me so much, and it's made me see how all of these little fears, it's minimalized them. It's made them really go away. I mean, they just don't exist anymore, because you just don't have time for that focus anymore, that focus on yourself so much. Now, I have a huge responsibility, and I'm so in love. And
you find, and really though, even though you thought you were in love before the baby, you don't really know what love is until you have a child. It's unbelievable what that does to you. It's like a whole new thing.
It's beyond. It's motherhood. It's the best role I'll ever play. It's the greatest thing I've ever done. It's the greatest thing I'll ever do, no matter what accomplishments come from here on. I'm so in love with her. Both Alec and myself are so in love with her. We're sort of dizzy, from the experience.
It's good to see you so happy, and you're doing great work.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. I'd like to again.
I would too, and it might be the best one she's ever done. I mean, I do like the Batman too, but
it may have been the best acting job I think she did. Yeah. I mean, she really had to act in that. Russell Crowe was great when he was in that too as Bud. I remember he was Detective Bud something. I don't even remember who else was in it, but L.A. Confidential was an excellent, excellent film. And then we went on to talk in a movie called Sentinel. And I like that one because I love Michael Douglas a lot.
Great actor.
And I love Kiefer Sutherland, who was in that one. And both were good. I mean, it was all three of my favorite people in that movie, The Sentinel. I don't think it did well, but, you know, sometimes you just can't figure things like that out. So let's continue talking to, I wish my girlfriend, Kim Bassinger.
See, you've already got my head red. And that's a sign that I'm blushing with you already. And I was, I told you I couldn't even go to the refrigerator for so many years. I've been in therapy because of you, because of the Mickey Rourke movie. It was just really been bad. And you were beautiful as usual. Being the first lady, that's an interesting role for you. Mm-hmm. What are the kind of things over the years, types? So I know you got offered hooker roles all the time. And you did well. You got an Oscar because you played one of those. But what kind of girls do they mostly want you to play?
It varies. I think as life goes on, you're offered more, just different variety. I've been very lucky. If you kind of look at the roles I've played, especially lately, I've been very lucky. It's just a variety, and I would get bored if they just kept asking me to do the same thing over. Yes, they do keep asking you, some films to play the sexy da-da-da-da-da, whether it's a mom role, whether da-da-da-da, and that gets all boring. It really does. But I've been pretty lucky, I think.
I don't think you've worked enough, if you want to know the truth. I mean, I really would. I think that you're pretty picky about what you do, aren't you?
Well, let me answer the first part. I don't think I have either, but it hasn't been for lack of really wanting to. It's just, I think there's a lack of anything that really turns me on.
Right.
That's true. And I am picky. I don't want to just go to work. I don't. I mean, I'm a single mom. I have to work for a living, so I don't have the luxury to just do an art film a year. I don't have that, so I do have to work. But I just don't find a lot of things well written, and it's the writing. You just got to have it, or you've got to at least have something that you can work with to make it while you're making it, and and it's wonderful if you have a co-star, a director, co-stars that you just want to work with. That's half the battle as well.
I mean, Michael Douglas is a take charge guy, isn't he? As you watched him run this movie,
take charge.
I mean, there's no doubt about who was kind of one of the boss men of this thing.
Well, that's one reason why I wanted to do this at all from day one. It was Michael. We always wanted to work together, but he's a great people. Not everybody thinks of him. It's just, other than in the industry, Michael's a phenomenal producer. I mean, he's won awards for it and everything, and he hands on everything. So I knew it would be in good hands. But then when Kiefer, and I thought, that's smart. Kiefer's like, I'm a 24 girl, so I'm really in love.
I'm an addict.
Yeah, me too. I really am, but I'm a huge Kiefer Sutherland fan from way back. Just watching him in a scene when you're flipping stations, I'm mesmerized by him. And then Eva, I thought, now that's a choice. That's kind of vibrant and really a great choice. I thought eclectic, fun, genres, wonderful. The action genre, thriller, great. I said, this is good. This is good. This is going to be good,
Is your Georgia background and your good Georgia girl sense still working for you pretty much?
I don't think that ever leaves you. If you're really... if you came from that foundation and that and you developed and started sort of, your garden was planted there and it kept growing, I don't think it ever leaves you.
One thing out here, they still can't make iced tea. I don't care how long you've been out here and I've been coming, I still have yet to have a decent glass of iced tea.
No, I'm not. I'm pretty much with you. Four Seasons here is doing pretty good.
Oh, they can do fruit tea and all that, but they don't have our tea.
Yeah, no. Well, we're not in the South, and you don't have, I doubt, if we went down to the kitchen right now, we'd find too many Southern women down there.
Good to see you again. You're beautiful as always. It was nice seeing you in an elegant role as the First Lady. It made me want to go out and vote for you or try to get you in office or something.
Thank you.
All
Maybe
right. Thank you, darling.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I just do love her.
Well, is she married now, Jimmy?
Of all of them, she's my favorite.
Is she available now, or is she...
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just we were like two ships that passed in the night back in those days. She was from near Atlanta, and just there are all these actresses, and people say, which one was your favorite one?
Yeah,
and for 1,000 reasons, it was Kim Basinger.
Yeah, I mean, I could name a bunch too for her. I thought, growing up, all the movies through the 80s and 90s, and the movies that she did, she was a sex symbol. I mean, there's no
doubt about it.
Yeah.
She was a Bond girl, technically.
Was she really?
Never Say Never Again was that remake of Thunderball with Sean Connery when he wasn't working with the people that owned the Bond franchise, but that was a script and a project that was able to take it off the reservation, so to speak. And so they redid it and competed with Bond. And the one thing they couldn't have that I think just made it was a good movie. Connery was great. She was great.
Yeah.
But the score, and you realize how important the music of James Bond was.
Isn't that something?
It could not do the dun 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 dun, dun that stuff. You know, the and without that, to me, GoldenEye didn't use much of it either. That's why that's my least favorite Bond movie of that series. The director didn't want to use it. And so he was a jackass because that was such a character.
Oh,
the music is a character in the Bond movie.
I agree.
As it is with Indiana Jones.
Yep.
As it is with Star Wars.
Yes, indeed.
And a number of other pictures that are just so musically oriented, their themes.
By the way, I know
Bond
you had
themes, are iconic.
I know you had missed like Ships Passing in the Night, but there's a movie you haven't seen that she is in that I didn't know she was in 2017, 50 Shades Darker. That might...
Nope, I don't know that one.
It was part of the 50 Shades of Grey series, so I didn't know she was in that at all. That was in 2017, so fascinating stuff. But she's been in some really, really great movies over the years, no doubt.
The Natural was one that I barely remember her in that, but that was Robert Redford and a baseball movie.
Yeah.
That was one some movies you just don't ever see pop up. And you don't ever think about. I don't know if that one's not available. I have it.
It's
somewhere in my collection.
That was such a great movie. 1980s sometime, 83.
Don't you remember that one when he hits the home run
and the lights
hits the lights out in the outfield?
Yeah,
that's one of the most iconic scenes in motion pictures.
That was a great movie. A really great movie.
Well,
no doubt.
Anyway, I love Kim Basinger, Alec Baldwin. I respect.
Yep.
But I don't know. He's in such a mess.
He's in a fine one.
Thing in a big pickle.
No doubt about it. Well, Jimmy, it's always a pleasure to go back and listen to these artists and these actors and actresses and singers, and it's just fascinating, especially when they're really young and you find out how they were and how they are now, and it's intriguing to me every time. And every week you can hear another great episode on Sweeping the Country from the Vault right here with myself, Derik Walker, and this famous guy, Mr.
I'm Jimmy Carter, and we all say good day.
Good day.